The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was full. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations sat in silence. Lights glowed softly across the walls. The air was heavy with tension. Everyone was waiting at the center of the chamber. Stood Ambassador Elias Trent, the last human representative of Earth. He looked calm, but his eyes were cold. He stood tall in his dark blue uniform. On the screen behind him, the Earth's flag slowly faded. "Ambassador Trent," said High Speaker Yelenoth, a tall, insect-like alien with silver eyes. "The Council demands a response. Will humanity agree to the new Unity Act?" Elias didn't answer right away. He looked around the hall. He saw the faces of those who once called humans allies, and those who secretly feared them. Then he spoke. "We joined this council in peace. We offered our science, our trade, and our protection. In return, we asked for respect." He paused. No one moved. But what we got was something else. "We're watched, spied on, our minds scanned. Our leaders threatened. And now you offer us a Unity Act that removes our independence, our freedom." Gasps echoed across the chamber. A reptilian general stood up. "It is for balance. No species can be more powerful than the others." Elias turned to him. "Then maybe you shouldn't have asked us to save your war-ravaged colonies. Maybe you shouldn't have begged us to stop the Red Plague. Maybe you shouldn't have relied on us for your economy, your tech, your defense." The room went silent again. He stepped forward. "We came here hoping to be part of something greater. But now we see the truth. You fear us. You want to control us, and you will never stop trying." His voice became cold. "So, humanity walks away. Effective now, we leave the Galactic Council." Screams filled the chamber. Holograms glitched. Messages began flooding in. Translators clicked and buzzed in panic. "You can't do this," cried a small blue diplomat from the Zari species. "You're needed." "We made our choice," Elias said, slowly pulling out a small black cube from his pocket. "Now face ours." He placed the cube on the council's speaker table. Lights blinked red on it. "What is that device?" shouted Yelenoth. Elias turned without answering. The cube began to hum. One by one, lights across the chamber went dark. Communication links to Earth cut. Trade data deleted. Access to human-built star routes disabled. Earth's ships disappeared from all known channels. Then, the screen behind Elias showed one last image. Earth, viewed from orbit. Peaceful, quiet, alone. And then, nothing. Elias was gone. Far above the Galactic Council world, Earth's last embassy ship entered a wormhole. Inside, Elias sat quietly, staring into space. A young officer walked in. "Sir, it's done. Full disconnect achieved. All systems pulled. Project Vantage is active." Elias nodded. "Good." The officer hesitated. "Do you think they'll come after us?" Elias smiled slightly. "They won't need to. The damage is already done." Back in the council chamber, panic spread. Leaders screamed into deadcoms. Fleets tried to reroute. AI systems built by human engineers were failing everywhere. Galactic news flashed across systems. Humanity has left. Chaos begins. On a quiet mining colony on the edge of space, a worker stared at a dead console. "We need Earth tech to fix this," he whispered. Another worker replied, "Earth's gone." And across the stars, something ancient began to stir, something human-made, locked away for years. Its message was short. Directive active, standby for restoration. But no one knew what restoration meant. Yet the galaxy was no longer the same. Just 3 days after humanity left the Galactic Council, everything began to fall apart. On the capital world of the Zari Alliance, public transport systems shut down without warning. The AIs that guided their cities built with human software stopped responding. In hospitals, life support machines froze. Ships grounded. Trade centers closed. The world went dark, one system at a time. "It's like someone pulled the plug on the stars," said Governor Elra of Zari Prime. And it wasn't just them. across over 50 star systems. Entire colonies that depended on human technology were left helpless. Earth's engineers had built the galaxy's most advanced networks, security grids, and navigation systems. Now all those systems were empty like bodies without a soul. Panic spread quickly. Ships got lost in deep space. Cargo routes became graveyards. Pirate groups began attacking supply fleets. No one was safe anymore. In the outer rings, a group of miners tried to reboot their life support systems. The human-designed interface just blinked red with a message. Access. Denied. Auth key missing. Contact Earth Command. But Earth Command no longer answered. On the Council homeworld, emergency meetings were called. The High Speaker Yelenoth sat in silence as the chaos reports piled in. "What do you mean we can't access the wormhole stabilizers?" he asked. A technician trembled. "Sir, the stabilizers were Earth-made. We don't know how they worked. We never did." The High Speaker's claws tapped the metal table and the defense grids. Offline, economic AI, corrupted. He looked around at the other council leaders, all once proud, now speechless. "We trusted them too much," whispered the Larkin ambassador, his feathers drooping. "We built our power on their knowledge." "No," Yelenoth growled. "We tried to control them. Now we are paying the price." In deep space, among the shattered moons of Rethernine, a massive pirate fleet gathered. Their leader, Krask. The Red watched human satellites drift silently across the void. "This is our time," he grinned. "No humans, no laws, no council." His second-in-command, a green-scaled cyborg, looked worried. "Sir, rumor says the humans left something behind, something dangerous." Krask laughed. "Let them come. We've taken their weapons, their codes. Will use their own power to rule." But Krask didn't know those human satellites weren't dead. They were watching, recording, waiting, back in the broken council chamber. Some members begged to send a message to Earth. They must. "Still be listening," cried the Zari diplomat. "We can ask for help. We can apologize." "They will never answer," said Yelenoth. "Then what do we do?" Yelenoth stared at the stars through the chamber window. "We survive," he said, "or we fall." Meanwhile, far beyond the council's reach, humanity watched inside a hidden space station orbiting a dead star. A small group of human leaders monitored everything. They saw the pirate attacks. They saw the colony failures. They heard every scream through back channels and emergency signals. One woman, General Kira Voss, turned to her team. "They depended on us too much. They never learned." Her second-in-command asked, "Do we help them now?" She shook her head. "Not yet. Let them see what happens when the stars go silent." Another officer spoke up. "Ma'am, Project Dreadstar just activated on its own. Auto-response protocol. It's online." General Voss paused. "That system was locked. Who gave the order?" "No one." They all looked at each other. The screen flickered. A single message appeared. "Restoration begins. Targets confirmed. Purge Phase 1 initiated." The officer swallowed. "What does that mean?" General Voss stood up slowly. "It means the galaxy's about to see what humans really left behind." Across the stars, as silence grew louder and hope faded, one thought spread like fire. What else did the humans leave behind? And somewhere deep in space, a ghost ship powered by ancient AI began to move. No crew, no signal. Just a name carved into its side. Dreadstar. 2 weeks had passed since humanity walked away. The galaxy was falling apart in the outer zones. Where the Council once kept order, silence had taken over. With Earth's patrol fleets gone, law vanished. And where there is no law, pirates rise. The most feared among them was Krask the Red, a former bounty hunter turned pirate king. His fleet, known as the Ashfang Armada, had already taken control of 7 star systems. He flew a massive warship built from the wreckage of an old human dreadnought. Krask stood tall on the bridge of his ship, his armor made of bones and scrap metal. His left eye glowed red, a gift from a stolen human combat implant. "Another colony, another prize," he growled, staring at the burning surface of Tarnax 3 on the view screen. "Council defenders?" asked his second-in-command. "Gone. Weak. They beg for help, but no one comes." He turned to his crew. "The stars are ours now." The bridge roared with cheers. Meanwhile, across pirate channels, a rumor was spreading fast and terrifying. A deep space salvage crew near the Verne Expanse had found a lost human satellite drifting alone. They hacked into it. Inside, they didn't find treasure. They found a warning, a simple message in bright red text. Classified, "Do not wake." But the pirates didn't care. They cracked the file, and something responded. The signal was short. Just 3 words. "Restoration protocol? Active." Then the cruise ship exploded without warning. No survivors. Krask received the report hours later. He was in a captured council shipyard, turning human tech into new weapons. "They triggered something," his tech officer said. "We're not sure what." Krask frowned. "Humans left, but their toys still bite." The officer nodded nervously. "There's more, sir. Another pirate gang? The Black Claw Syndicate vanished near the edge of the Cern Belt? No distress call. Just gone." Krask stood in silence. Then he turned and walked toward the viewing deck. "They warned us," he whispered, "but we didn't listen." Back in the Council Core worlds, things were worse. News feeds showed burning space stations. Refugees filled broken ships. Council guards were overwhelmed. Trade networks collapsed. People starved. And still, no message came from Earth's council. Leaders argued day and night. Some wanted to fight the pirates. Others wanted to surrender and beg for human help. But help never came. Yelenoth, the High Speaker, stared at a map of the galaxy. Red zones were spreading like fire. "We built peace on their power," he said, "and when they left, our empire became dust." His aide stepped forward. "Sir, we have to act." Yelenoth nodded. "Send spies, find out what the pirates are finding, and locate any remaining human stations, if they exist." In the dark edge of the galaxy, beyond council maps, a ghost ship drifted through the void. Its engines were silent. Its surface was covered in old human markings. Project Dreadstar, Alpha Core. Inside, hundreds of machines came alive. Black-armored humanoid drones moved through the ship like shadows. Red lights blinked, and in the command chair, a human-shaped AI stared forward, its eyes glowing. It spoke in a voice like thunder. "Enemy activity detected. System collapse, 41%. Peace protocol failed. Time to restore balance. 1,000. War drones launched into the void. Back in pirate territory. Krask was planning his biggest attack yet, the capture of Velaris Prime, a wealthy trade hub. He stood before his war council, pointing at star maps. "We take Velaris. We control the core routes. No one stops us. Not the council, not the colonies. Not a silent alarm cut him off." "Unknown signal approaching," shouted a bridge officer. "Show it." Screen blinked. 12 black ships appeared. No ID, no heat, no comms. They moved like shadows then. They opened fire. One by one, Krask's escort ships exploded without even firing back. "Who are they?" screamed his second. The answer came as a cold whisper from the comms. "Restoration has begun. Your time is over." Krask's eyes widened. "Humans," he muttered. "They're not gone. They're watching." He gave the order to retreat, but it was already too late, in a quiet station orbiting a dead moon. A lone smuggler recorded a message. "I don't know who will hear this, but the pirates are running. Something scarier than them is out there. Something human." He paused. "If this is what Earth left behind, we should all be afraid." The Galactic Council was breaking. Its halls, once full of power and pride, now echoed with fear. Reports of attacks came from every star system. Pirate fleets had either been destroyed or had vanished. Trade routes were dead. Failing, and then came the worst news. A council warship, the Silver Flame, had disappeared near the Zarin Nebula. Its last message was one word: restoration. High Speaker Yelenoth stood in the center of the main chamber. He looked tired. His silver eyes had lost their shine. Behind him, giant screen showed star maps turning red. "Everything is collapsing," said the Lurkin ambassador. "We are losing control." "Not losing," whispered Yelenoth. "We have already lost." The chamber went silent. Then the youngest ambassador, a small, four-armed alien from the Voca species, stepped forward. "There is still one option," she said. "We ask the humans to return." A wave of gasps spread through the room. "The humans left us," growled the Gorthon general. "They turned their backs." "We gave them reasons too," she replied calmly. "But they can stop this. Whatever they left behind listens to them." Yelenoth raised a hand. "She is right." Everyone stared. "We feared their power, so we tried to control them," he said. "Now we fear their silence." That night, from a secret chamber deep under the council's main tower, a transmission was sent, one that hadn't been used. In over 100 years, the code was old, human-made. A diplomatic signal known only to Earth Command. Yelenoth appeared on the screen. His voice was calm but filled with pain. "To the leaders of Earth, to humanity. This is a call for peace." He took a deep breath. "We were wrong. We broke the trust between our worlds. We tried to bind you, limit you. And in doing so, we betrayed your goodwill." The room behind him shook from distant explosions. Fire alarms blared. "Our galaxy is dying. Pirates rise and fall. Machines from your past walk among the stars. And we are not strong enough to stop them." Bowed his head. "Help us, please. If there is still a piece of hope between us, answer this call." The message ended, and the council waited. 1 hour. No reply. 10 hours. Silence 20-4 hours. Still nothing. Far away, in an unmarked human station, floating in the shadow of a cold star, the message was received. General Kira Voss stood silently as it played on the holoscreen. Around her, human officers waited for her response. "Do we reply?" one asked. "No," she said, "not yet." "But the council is falling apart. That's the point." Another officer stepped forward. "Project Dreadstar is in full movement. 2 more pirate fleets destroyed. Council fleets are retreating." "From key sectors?" General Voss nodded. "The chaos is the test. Let's see who learns and who disappears." "But what if they never learn?" Voss turned toward the screen. It now showed images of the council world's burning cities. Falling ships, refugees. She narrowed her eyes. "Then the stars will have new rulers." On a refugee ship near the outer rim, a family from the Zari species huddled together. They had lost their home, their city, their entire world. A small child pointed at the stars. "Mother, will the humans come back?" She stared out the window, her eyes filled with both fear and hope. On the broken streets of the council capital, rebels were rising. Local leaders had taken control from council forces. Riots burned through the cities, and in the sky above, a shadow appeared. A massive black, triangle-shaped ship, silent. No ID, no sound. It hovered above the city for 1 minute. Then it left no. One knew why, but its message was clear. You are being watched. Deep in the void, inside the Dreadstar, the human AI continued its mission. Its voice echoed through the dark halls. Council weakness confirmed. Pirate threat reduced. Balance not yet achieved. Awaiting final command. But no command came. Earth was still silent. And then, on the 3rd day after the council's message, something changed. A single signal appeared on a private channel. It was short, it was human. "We heard you." But that was all. No name, no face, no promise. Just silence after that. Yet for the council, it was enough hope once dead. Flickered again, but they didn't know what hearing meant in human terms. Because sometimes, hearing doesn't mean helping. It means judging. For the first time in 50 standard cycles, the skies above the council homeworld lit up, not with fire, but with light. Hundreds of ships appeared without warning. They came silently, without weapons raised, without threats. Smooth, black. Human vessels formed a massive ring above the planet. No fighters, no war cries, just presence. Then, a message was broadcasted across every council world, every device, every frequency. A calm voice spoke in perfect galactic standard. This is Earth. You are not under attack. You are under trial. Panic and confusion spread instantly. Leaders scrambled to respond. Citizens stopped in the streets. Galaxy held its breath. On the council floor, High Speaker Yelenoth stood once more, older, weaker. Ashamed, the giant screen in front of him blinked. A human face appeared. It was Ambassador Elias Trent, the same man who had walked out of the council years ago. But now, he wore no uniform, only black. His eyes were sharp but cold. "We gave you everything," he said. "Science, defense, health, peace. In return, you gave us chains." He raised a hand, and the screen split into multiple feeds. One by one, it showed the Edenlock files, secret meetings, mind control plans. The truth. Council members across the chamber lowered their heads in shame. "We could have destroyed you," Elias said. "We still can, but that is not justice." He leaned forward. "You will face a trial, not of weapons, of truth." Council was forced to open its doors to humanity for the first time since Earth's departure. Inside the rebuilt council chamber, dozens of human observers entered. Calm, silent. Watching, no army. Just presence. One by one, council leaders were brought forward. Not all survived the journey. Some had been killed by their own people. Some had fled. Others begged for mercy. A tribunal was formed. 5 human judges, 5 neutral species, and 1 AI from Earth's ethics core. The charges were clear: betrayal of trust, attempted mental enslavement, abuse of power, galactic destabilization. Evidence was played. The words of the council leaders from Project Edenlock echoed across the hall. "We must control the humans. We'll place the devices in education. Systems, they won't know until it's too late." Gasps filled the chamber. Some wept. Others sat in silence. Ambassador Elias stood once more. "You feared us because we refused to slow down, because we dreamed bigger. And for that, you tried to break us." One Larkin elder stood shakily. "We were afraid, but not of you, of our own weakness." Elias nodded. Double quotes, "and now you will face consequences." The verdicts came quickly. 15 council officials were sentenced to permanent exile on a Baron. Moon, 7 were imprisoned in a stasis vault, to be awakened only after Earth's approval. 3 were judged unfit to continue existing. They were erased by Dreadstar's judgment, protocol. But humanity did not destroy civilizations. They restored laws, they rebuilt systems, and they made it clear, never again, in the weeks that followed. Human advisors returned not as rulers, but as watchers. On colony worlds, Earth shared clean energy once more. Food replicators were repaired. AI hospitals were reactivated, but Earth remained distant. They gave help, but not friendship. They rebuilt, but not trust. People cheered their return and feared their silence. One council journalist, a young Zari woman, recorded a private interview with Elias Trent. "Why did you come back now?" she asked. He replied simply, "Because it was time." "Will humanity lead the galaxy now?" "No," he said. "We lead ourselves. The galaxy must learn to stand without using chains." She looked at him carefully. "Do you forgive us?" Elias did not smile. He did not blink. No. Far in space, Project Dreadstar was ordered to shut down. Its drones returned to the void. Its core went cold, but it was not. It was destroyed only. Sleeping as a reminder that Earth is always watching. On a small farming world in the Outer Rim, a child asked her mother, "Why did the humans judge everyone?" Her mother looked up at the stars. "Because no one else was brave enough to." And so, the galaxy stood still, not in fear, but in reflection. Humanity had returned, not with war, with justice. 6 months had passed since humanity returned, but they did not take back power. They did not crown themselves rulers. Instead, they rewrote the rules of the stars. The Galactic Council was gone. In its place stood a new system, not built on power, but on balance. It was called the Accord of Equals. It had no central capital, no single leader. Every species, big or small, had one voice, one vote, and above all, one law written by Earth itself. No mind shall ever be broken. No world shall ever be owned. Humanity stayed distant. Their ships patrolled the edges of chaos, not to control, but to protect. Their technology returned, but locked, shared only with those who earned trust, not those who begged or threatened. Earth itself remained sealed. Number. Outsiders were allowed to enter. From space, it looked peaceful. Blue, untouched. A symbol of what the galaxy almost destroyed. Ambassador Elias Trent had returned to Earth. He no longer led, no longer spoke in public, but some said they saw him walking along the mountains, near the Terran Peace Archives, watching, thinking, listening to a galaxy that finally, painfully, began to grow in the deep void. A signal station picked up a strange message.
Oh.
It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't from any known species. Just for words, repeated over and over. We remember the silence. The message was never traced. Some believed it came from a hidden Earth AI. Others said it was a warning. In the refugee cities of Zari Prime, a statue of a human child now stood in the center of a rebuilt plaza. The plaque read, "To those who helped, even after being hurt." Children placed flowers there every day, not out of fear, out of respect. On a council archive world, the last remaining files from Project Edluck were burned in public. The new Larkin leader stood before his people and said, "We thought we could tame giants." Instead, they walked away, and we nearly collapsed without them. We must never build on fear again. And then came a message, from Earth to the entire galaxy. It played only once, on every planet, every ship, every screen. The voice was human. Female.com. This is the age of rebuilding. You are not our enemies, but we are not your tools. We offer friendship, not obedience. We will stand with those who stand with all, and to those who seek control. We will walk away again. The message ended. It left behind both peace and fear, because everyone remembered what happened the last time Earth walked away in a small research station on the edge of space. Two alien students studied human history. One asked, "How did they become so powerful?" The other replied, "Because they were never afraid to stand alone." Somewhere in the deepest part of the stars, Project Dreadstar floated silently. Its systems were asleep, its weapons cold, but inside, soft red light blinked, waiting not for orders but for need. Because the humans had not left the galaxy, they had simply stepped back, watching, asking one question. Will they learn this time? And so the stars turned, and the galaxy moved forward, not because of war, not because of fear, but because once humanity had the strength to walk away and the courage to return. In the deepest part of the void, far from stars, signals, and civilization, a ship older than memory began to move. It was massive, shaped like a long blade, blacker than the space around it. No windows, no lights, no crew, only machines. This was Project Dreadstar, an ancient human warship, built in secret during the early years of Earth's alliance with the Galactic Council. It had never been used. It was never supposed to be until now, inside its silent command center. A red glow lit the room. A voice cold, clear, human-like, echoed through the ship. Restoration, Phase 2. Activate. Mechanical arms unfolded. Ship-mounted weapons. Powered up. Drone hangars opened. Thousands of black-armored machines flew into space like a swarm of wasps. Each drone carried Earth's symbol, but twisted, modified, no longer peaceful. This was not diplomacy. This was judgment on the colony. World of Jacker 6, a pirate base buzzed with activity. Krask, the Red's surviving fleet, had hidden there after their defeat. He stood near a wall map, furious. "They're not just machines," he growled. "They think, they hunt, they judge." His second in command was pale. "Sir, 5 more. Pirate groups are gone. No distress calls. Just silence." "We were the kings of chaos," Krask roared. "Now we're prey." A young tech ran in. "They found us. How many ships?" The tech swallowed. "1." Krask laughed. "1. Then let them come." The alarm cut him off. Outside, the sky turned black as the Dreadstar appeared. Within seconds, the pirate base's defenses exploded. The ground trembled. High-energy beams sliced through bunkers like paper, and then the drones landed. Krask pulled out a massive cannon and ran toward the battlefield. He never even reached the door. The wall behind him melted. A drone stepped through, tall, metallic. Glowing red eyes, it scanned him. Target confirmed. Judged. Unfit. Krask raised his gun and vanished in a flash of light. The Pirate Kings were no more, back on the Council homeworld. Chaos was growing. Cities collapsed. Riots spread. Governments failed. High Speaker Yelenoth stood at his office window, watching smoke rise. A messenger rushed in. "Sir, another signal from the Dreadstar? Is it attacking?" "No, it says something different this time." He handed the device to the speaker. The message was short. "Your leaders created imbalance. Correction is necessary. Surrender the names." Yelenoth frowned. "Names? What names?" Then he understood. The humans wanted the list of council members who had pushed the Unity Act. The law meant to weaken humanity before they left. The humans knew everything. "We never gave them those files," whispered the Larkin ambassador. "Beside him, they didn't need us to," said Yelenoth. "They always knew." In the hidden human command station, General Kira Voss watched from a silent control room. The screen showed the destruction of Jacker 6. "Dreadstar is operating at full power," an officer reported. "Restoration level 3 initiated." Voss leaned forward. "Is it still following protocol?" "For now," another officer spoke. "Council leaders are panicking. One of them tried to send coordinates of the Unity Act authors. They're turning on each other." General Voss said nothing. Someone whispered, "Is this what we wanted?" She replied quietly, "This is what they earned." In the ruins of a once busy space station, a council technician found an old message in a forgotten archive. It was marked Earth Origin, year 2599. He played it. A calm human voice said, "If this message is heard, it means peace has failed. The stars chose betrayal. This ship is not vengeance. It is balance. It will not stop." The technician stared in horror. "This is our punishment?" he whispered. The Dreadstar moved without pause. Everywhere it went, scanned, judged, and destroyed. But it didn't attack civilians. It didn't touch neutral colonies. It only struck where corruption had grown. It chose targets with precision, and still humanity said nothing. No voice. No face. Just silence behind the machine. In the shadows of the galaxy, people started praying not to gods, but to humans. They didn't ask for help. They asked for mercy. One rebel leader, standing on a war-torn moon, looked at the stars and whispered, "Maybe the humans didn't leave to escape us. Maybe they left to see what we'd become without them." No one had an answer. But one thing was clear. Project Dreadstar had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. Deep beneath the ruins of the Galactic Council's main archive, 2 council aides stumbled through smoke and rubble. Power had failed days ago. Fires burned across the halls. Most had evacuated, but these 2 had stayed. They were searching for the one file no one had ever dared open. The classified records sealed by the Inner Council before Earth's departure. They've finally reached a hidden vault. Marked in old Earth code, Project Adinluk, Human Containment Proposal, one of them, a young Voca named Nira. Turned to her partner. "This is it," she whispered. The file the humans already knew about. It broke the seal. The file played automatically. A voice filled the room. Not human, but alien. A council voice. They're advancing too quickly. Their science moves faster than all others combined. If we do not limit their influence, we will become dependent, or worse, obsolete. A second voice responded, "We must control their minds. Not with force, with technology, slowly, a unity device. Hidden in trade networks, education systems, AI protocols." The voices faded. Silence followed. Nira stared in horror. They were going to enslave humanity through their own technology. Her partner whispered, and the humans found out. That's why they left. At the same time, in the human shadow, Station General Kira Voss stood before her command team. A large screen showed the Council archive breach. "They've seen it," her tech officer said. "The galaxy knows the truth now." Voss nodded. "Good. Let them see what their leaders tried to do. Will we speak to them now?" "No," she said. "Not yet." Across council space, the reaction was instant and violent. News feeds played the archive recording on loop. Billions watched in disbelief. Riots broke out across core worlds. Statues of council leaders were torn down. Protests flooded the cities. On Zari Prime, civilians stormed a council fortress. "We trusted you," they shouted. "You betrayed the humans. You betrayed us." Several council members were captured by their own guards. On the edge of council-controlled space, a former pirate colony changed its flag to one bearing Earth's old emblem, not in fear, but in hope. Back in the council chamber, only a handful of leaders remained. Yelenoth stood alone at the center. His robes were torn, his voice weak. "We were wrong," he whispered to the empty hall. "We feared their power. Ow. So we tried to control them." He looked up at the stars through the broken ceiling. "They gave us warning, then they walked away. We chose our fate." Far above, Dreadstar continued its quiet mission. But now, for the first time, it stopped. No targets. No attacks. It hovered above a dead world. The site of the secret research facility, where the Unity-controlled device was first tested. The AI inside spoke. Truth confirmed. Restoration phase complete. Waiting final order. But Earth did not respond. Somewhere in deep space, Council Exile sent a private message to an unknown human relay. "We were part of the Edenlock plan. We're sorry. We want peace. Please. Reply." For hours, there was no answer. Then a single message came back. "We remember. But peace must be earned." In refugee camps across the galaxy, children listened to stories told in hushed voices. Stories about Earth. About how humans gave everything medicine, knowledge, protection, and asked only for respect. Stories about how they were betrayed. One child looked up at the stars and asked her father, "Will they ever forgive us?" Her father answered carefully, "Maybe one day, but not today." In a secret human outpost near the edge of the Orion Passage, an old man watched the galaxy burn through a window. He was Earth's former ambassador, Elias Trent. He held a cup of tea, quietly watching the reports. A young officer approached. "Sir, the truth is out. Do we reveal ourselves now?" Elias didn't answer right away. Then he smiled softly. "No, not yet. Let the galaxy live in its shame a little longer. Let them feel the silence. Let them understand." The officer nodded, and, "Dreadstar?" he asked. Elias looked at the glowing red dot on the screen. "Hold position," he said. "No more war. They need to learn, not fear, but regret." He stood and walked away, whispering to himself, "They thought they could break us. Now they see." Humanity was the glue holding everything together. And across the stars, everyone asked the same question. Will the humans come back? Or will they watch us fall from afar? No one knew, but everyone feared the answer.